Welcome to the Breakfast Club. My name is Zenzele Ndebele, and this is Asake Online. COVID-19 has affected big business. It has affected small business. It has affected international travel. Everyone in the world is talking about COVID. Most of the times when we talk about how COVID affected our lives and the world in general, we normally talk about big business. We talk about big companies whose operations were interrupted. And we hardly talk about individuals and focus on individuals, how COVID changed the lives of individuals. And today in our program, we'll be talking to Ricardo Dzimiri, popularly known as Uriki. Abanye bathi nguMaBanana. He's a young man who's well known around, especially on social media. He proudly sells his products on social media. I call him an entrepreneur because what he does is interesting, is exciting. He brings a new dimension to how you can actually make a living out of what you do, and he's proud of it. But today we visited him to try and find out how lockdown has affected his business and how he has adjusted, because at the end of the day, we cannot just cry that lockdown has affected our business, COVID has affected our business. The question is, how do we adjust? Because things will not be the same after the COVID pandemic. Ricky, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much, Zenzele. It's an honor to be a guest here.
Many people met you on Twitter,
right.
When you decided to, advertise your business.
Yes.
Tell me about that. What made you to, be proud of what you do the way you did?
When I started, on my first day, I went to the market and ordered my stuff and got into town. On Twitter, I was like, hey guys, I got a job, and abantu who started, liking and sharing. Because on that day I sold a lot of bananas, a lot of people from Twitter was like, we saw you on Twitter, it's nice to know you. They started following me on Twitter. That's when we started interacting and some people becoming regular customers, and that's when I was known for selling bananas.
So what made you think that, despite what is happening, I'm going to, focus on selling bananas?
Okay. I needed a place to start, because the unemployment rate is very high, even for the most academically successful person, So I realized even with my community, there are a lot of people who are successful academically, but, they're sitting back home doing nothing, So I didn't perform well academically, So I saw myself going in a much rougher path because noma bengalinda labo bantu for 5 years without without work, they can get it after 5 years. But for me now, I would have to, wait longer. So I thought let me start my own thing. Who knows, I might be the one to employ these people and really decrease the unemployment, unemployment rate, So yeah, that's it.
So one thing that I like about Ricky is his confidence, the way he just carries himself around. Yeah. Tell me about the young Ricky. Where did he grow up? What did he do? What did he like?
Yeah, what makes me different actually is that I grew up in the suburbs, and I grew up in Johannesburg, also town, So I'm a town boy, I'm a suburb boy, So I come from a society where people have got class and standards, So such people, they really have a confidence to themselves until they do something that appears degrading. So I had to recollect myself and get into the paradigm shift. I'm doing something that's out of my norm. So I really have to gather up some confidence, because not a lot of people take pride in doing that, in selling bananas in the streets, especially when you come from my society, So I learned how to gather that confidence.
Yeah, so I would say, in your language, you put swag to the trend of selling bananas, But how easy was it? How easy was the decision to say, guys, I've tried everything else, I have friends and all those kind of things, but I'm going to sell bananas?
It wasn't easy. It wasn't easy at all, because I first, you know, that thing that people do, which they first talk to people in their immediate circle seeking advice and validation. I did that, and people in my circle were not with it, you know, so it was not easy from my place. So I had to get out of my mind and think long term. You know, in the next 5-10 years, what am I gonna be doing? You know, because there are some people that inspire me not to be like them. You know, so it wasn't easy. I had to think long term and really get out in the street and force myself ngithengise banana and gather my confidence and my get it going no matter what.
So tell me, how is a day like? You wake up in the morning, you go to the market. How is your day like? Typical day.
Right, I cycle to work. It's from my place to town. It's to the wholesaler, which is Matanuska. It's about 8 kilometers. So I go there. I hire a Scania. There's a guy called Big Show, Renkini. He's got Scanias. So I hire Scania, then I push it to the wholesale and order my bananas and stock about 6 crates. You know, and push them back into town. I usually pass through the Erenkini and then sell a little bit there for about 30 minutes. It depends on if I want to buy a tenga and if there's any foot traffic there. Then from Erenkini, ngena ngasema Kokoba and take a round there, and through 3rd Avenue, I'm into town and spend the rest of the day in town, selling bananas. It's quite an experience, hey? It's actually engaging with people when you're not used to it, you know, in that way. It was a new thing at first, but I got used to it and I got to learn how to sell, you know, and yeah.
So it's quite a walk, and I mean, health-wise, you want to like have abs and muscles because you're pushing this trolley around. But what kind of conversations do you do with people as you go along, and you know, what kind of people do you interact with?
Abadala bayathanda ukuthi mabebona isize zethu they like to motivate. Who don't sleep at night, but they drive big cars. So whatever you're doing, keep on doing it. Wishing you the best. So abantu abadala we talk, they usually motivate me. Yeah. Then in Tangazami, it's I'm the one who does the motivation. You know, they talk about, Ricky, why would you do something like this, man? You're not the face, you're not the type to be doing these things. I'm like, man, we're in Zimbabwe. You know, it's one of the most underdeveloped countries in the world. We cannot live in Zimbabwe like we are in Hollywood. You know, things are hard, yeah. Unemployment, you really have to embrace the fact that you know, and understand what, you know, you have to start somewhere. A lot of people bakala pansi, so that's the conversation I have with them, and it appears it comes out an inspiring dialogue, and they get to understand. I actually have friends who started things out of those conversations.
Yeah, usually I know you like to go around Trade Gold there and all those kind of areas where it's actually a busy place, you know, you meet all sorts of people, you know. What is like if you meet maybe your high school guys and people that you grew up with? Do you get like, you know, or they say, wow, is it you?
Yeah, it's, at first I actually still meet people. That's the funny thing. I've been selling for over a year now. I still meet people that I haven't met since high school, you know, so it's always a new thing. But for me, you know, so hey, what's going on? And in high school I used to play rugby, so I used to be grim. So I only expression nah, man, what happened to you? You've lost so much weight. And I'm like, no, you know, life, man, this is what we're doing. So at first I was a little bit ashamed, you know, guys. I was really known for playing rugby at school.
Which school did you go to?
Milton High School. Yeah. We used to play rugby there. So they get surprised. You've lost weight, now you're doing this. And when you're known for umuntu or kulumislungu, and they look all sophisticated, you know, and people, they have that reaction of, what happened? you know. So I got used to that, and it just goes over my head.
I know, when you are selling in the streets here, there is the police, there is the Makokova and all that kind of thing. How do you navigate all these things? How easy is it to be really selling your stuff in the streets?
Omakokova bangithwalise nzima. Yeah, bangithwalise nzima. I think there was a week when I got raided about 3 times, in 1 week. That week, it was a bad week, or something. I got raided and I stayed about 2-3 months, without work, without doing anything. I was broke, So I started working for somebody else. But Bank Trisenzima, it's a lot of times since I started. They've raided me quite a lot of times. So that's one problem I'm facing in the business, Uti. Once they raid me, because I work for myself. Unlike a lot of traders, abantu abapushis Gania, most of them basebenzela abantu abakhulu who invest in the business and then employ them to push the carts in town. To push their stuff in town. They are paid on commission. I work for myself. When those guys get looted, they can, you go back to your boss and tell him, stuff got lost, got raided, they press back. When I get looted, it's over, So those are the challenges I face with the municipals in town. And yeah, I think I got used to it. I really got used. Now I know ukuthi sengbazi ama faces sengwazi. So when I see them, and run, and it's a lot of chasings that I've gone through with those guys, and it's chase and catch, sometimes chase and evade. So yeah.
So it's a business, and therefore there has to be profitability in it.
Right.
How profitable is the industry? Can you make a living out of it?
You can get by. You can really get by, especially for a young person like me who doesn't have any family responsibilities. You can get by, But the difference now, since we're in a COVID situation, the difference is that when I was selling in town, in Ngolanga with about 6 crates, that's up to 700 bananas at most, But now, since it's COVID, actually from last year, June, say lockdown, I was selling in my neighborhood. So I was selling in 1 crate. I would load the crate on my bicycle and cycle back with it, and start selling in my neighborhood. There's a market platform on WhatsApp where you advertise and deliver. So now I sell in smaller proportions as compared to town. Town is 6 crates. Now in my neighborhood, it's 1 crate or 2 crates at most. On a great day, it's 3 crates. That's about once in every 2 weeks. So now I'm really selling in smaller proportions, and the energy that I'm doing this, the effort that I'm putting now, it's not worth the profit, because per crate you earn about $1, right? So now the effort that I do to cycle to town, about 8 kilometers, and back, that's 16 kilometers, and around my neighborhood, that's another 10 kilometers. That's 26 kilometers just for 1 crate. If I've got 2 crates, that's times 2. So the effort that I put now in to earn $1 is more as compared to town. So yeah, that's the difference that I'm facing with the COVID situation that we're in now.
Yeah, you've brought up the issue of COVID. Now your business is doing fine. You are really getting a bit of customers and all that. Then COVID happens. How does that leave you? Where does that leave you?
For me, it was COVID, and actually in town, when I got back after lockdown, when people got into town, I started selling, and I had a bad experience on Twitter, because I was depending on my customers on Twitter in town mostly. So after I got dragged or cancelled, I lost customers, So for me, it was COVID and that You know, I lost customers and I wasn't selling just as much as I was selling before. So during COVID, when I then moved into my neighborhood, during lockdown, that's when this business got even much worse. You know, I was selling much lower, putting more effort, and yeah, business was slow. Yeah, so yeah,
So
that's what
it's been a year now because of the lockdown, and this year we started on even, you know, the year starts and we're already on lockdown. So are you still operating?
Currently, no. Our business is currently off course. I haven't been selling. I've got problems with my bike. It's not really roadworthy. So for me to load a crate on the bicycle, it's dangerous, you know. And transport to transport a crate, because Zupco, they charge you your body weight and they charge you your stuff. So if you got a crate, Zupco is 50 pound now. If I'm paying for myself and I'm paying for the crate as well. So that's like I'm paying, I'm spending most of my profit for the crate on transport, you know. So that's the challenge I'm facing. I cannot transport my stuff into my neighborhood and sell.
So what have you been up to? You know, life has to go on. People adjust.
Yeah.
So in between, what have you been doing?
Well, I've been working on hay bales. I got my yard slashed. The grass was quite long, so I turned that grass into hay bales, and I use buckets and my school trunk. They come out well, so I'm actually harvesting them so that when the dry season, when they get dry, I can get to sell them. And I'm also working on my demos, my radio demos. I usually rehearse myself because I'm an aspiring radio presenter. So I work on demos, I rehearse myself, I do shows, I do links, that's what I do. And a lot of reading, because I've stopped indulging on social media. So I've got a lot of time to myself, and so I'm spending it on also reading some books, you know, Rich Dad, some really good books, economic books, and learning some things, some valuable things.
I know before the show we talked a lot about your social media experience.
Right.
And my only question would be, what would you advise other young people like you about social media? Looking back, what do you think you can do better on social media? Right. How do you think you can use social media for your business?
You can use social media for a lot of things. It's very beneficial if you show your talent, if you show your hustle, if you show your academic certificates or your sports certificates. People can get to know you for who you are. It can really get you high. We have people like Bodang, who started from the bottom, but now they are known because of social media, you know. So it can really get you places. And I actually got known because of social media. I actually sold more because of social media in town as compared to other vendors whom I push with in town, you know. So it's very beneficial, but you have to be careful. I learned, especially last year, you have to be careful with your delivery of content on social media. You know, I've learned after I got dragged, I learned people don't receive you the same. You know, there are a lot of misconceptions on social media. You can say something in a good place for Wena, but then other people may receive it differently. You know, they may receive it differently. So you have to be really cautious and be careful, but don't get involved in controversial things. That's my advice. Don't get into, especially when you've got a brand that you're pushing. Don't get into controversial things, so don't speak about things that you don't really know, you know. So yeah, really separate yourself from those conversations.
So how does the future look like for Ricky? What are his dreams? I mean, where do we see Ricky 5 years from now?
Hey, I have big dreams. I've dreams in retail. I have dreams in real estate. I have dreams in radio. My friend was like, Ricky, 4 R's. You know, radio, real estate, retail, that's for Ricky, you know. So I have, I want to do great things, you know. And with predicting my future, I knew I had to start somewhere, you know, with selling bananas. So I just thought, no, I cannot dream about these things without, you know, working on them, you know. So yeah, I'm really, especially for radio and retail, that's what I'm really getting closer to. I'm associating with some radio people and getting to know how they work, what they deal with. Even in retail, there are some guys that I buy from, you know, whom we told. There's a guy called Dylan. He's got a shop on 15th Avenue and George. Yeah, I discovered him. I'm a cyclist as well, so I discovered him in a cyclist group. You know, he's a young entrepreneur like me. He's got a shop, so every time I go there, get some bananas, we talk business, and I see how he's running the shop. So that association, it brings me closer to my dreams for retail and other people that I buy from. You know, there's another guy whom I hoard from. He's got bananas as well. He's also an entrepreneur. So my circle is growing into what I want it to be. You know, to be associated with people who are on my path. You know, so the dream is not close, but we are going there.
Yeah, I'm happy that, I mean, despite the fact that COVID has slowed down your business,
Right.
you know, you have not given up.
Right.
You still you've managed to adjust. You're
Yeah.
doing things. You're not, you know, just sitting and,
Yeah.
you know, doing nothing.
Right.
You've actually adjusted and doing something.
Right.
And it's something that is quite commendable for young men like you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, I look forward to, well, the business is, well, I've got dreams for my brand, hey. I really want to get it some higher places. I've got plans for it, even brand, you know, now I've branded my shirt and my cap. Now people know me with, I know that's Ricky, and I look forward to branding more people, more young people, get them into uniform and pushing a branded banana, you know, in town. And yeah, yeah. So I look forward to getting back to business soon enough.
There is the story of Ricky, the guy who sells bananas. Now he's doing hay, and he tells me he's Ricky. R for retail, for real estate, for radio. So we have seen that, you know, COVID have changed the way people do their business. But I'm actually happy that Uriki, you have realized that bananas are not doing at the moment, but he can do something. He doesn't need to, you know, sit at home doing nothing, and he's ventured into, you know, hay, which I think is quite an interesting shift, but also an opportunity that has presented itself. A lot of people are struggling to adjust during COVID, and because their businesses are down, and someone was talking about, you know, COVID-proof business. What is it that you can do even during the lockdown to make sure that at least you go by? So this is one story that I find inspiring, that I find is exciting, that the young man has just decided to do something for himself. And of course, he shared a bit about his social media experience. I know social media can be a cool place, but it can also be a place that can break you down. So we learn some of the lessons as well. What is it that you can do on social media? Because most of the people that we have on social media, we just meet them on social media. We don't know them. They are not your friends. And we don't share the same vision. So sometimes people can come harsh on you. Sometimes we all make mistakes, and the mistakes can really break you down. So talking to him, I felt like his experience on social media really, you know, got him to really a place where he said, you know, I'm better off out of social media and doing what I know best. And it's exciting that he's really pushing. And we hope to hear more stories from young men who are trying to make a living during this pandemic, because his business has really been affected by the lockdown. My name is Zenzele Ndebele. Till we meet in other programs, have a good day.